sit here with you. All right, the other big story, the carbon tax. You may have heard of it. Set to go up by 23% on Monday, April Fool's Day. Not making that up. 7 premiers have written our prime minister saying, pause this. Don't get rid of it, just pause it. Yesterday, the prime minister himself sent out a letter to those premiers who want this paused and wrote the following. When we last engaged with provinces and territories on this in 2022, all of your governments either did not propose alternative systems for the environment or proposed systems that did not meet the minimum standard for emissions reductions. We continue to remain open to proposals for credible systems that price pollution, that reflect the unique realities of your regions and meet the national benchmark. End of statement. Again, for those of you who aren't familiar, and that's part of the story here, is that there are a lot of people out there who really don't have a grasp on what the carbon tax is. Tam, in like 35 seconds, how would you describe it to people?
Okay, so carbon pricing really is supposed to discourage businesses and industry from burning fossil fuels because, of course, that creates greenhouse gases and that is harmful to the environment. So they're looking to try to reduce that. That tax, though, is put mainly on those businesses and industry who then they do pass it along to the consumer, at the gas pump and so on. But what the government is saying is that there is this carbon rebate that you are getting as well. And what that means, so let's break it all down in terms of the hike. The hike that is going to start as of April 1st. It's going to go from $60 to $80 per ton in terms of the tax that industry and businesses will face. The rebate, though, that families will be getting, they range for a family of 4 across the country. The rebate ranges from $760 to $1,800 for a family of 4. Here in Ontario specifically, as of April 1st, it's going to be about $1,120 that a family of 4 will get. And that will be something that will be direct deposit into your account 4 times a year, every quarter. $170 per ton. That is what the government aims to have that carbon tax increase to by 2030. So again, it's more businesses and industries that are feeling that pinch. The government says 80% of families are going to be getting more money back as a rebate in their bank accounts versus what they spend and what's passed down to them at the consumer level.
So this is
the breakdown from the government.
That's the breakdown.
I mean,
this is the standoff that's going on.
I'm just doing that
nice
because
job.
that, I think, has been missing in this conversation, maybe from the beginning, because it just doesn't set us up to understand how those things work. Because you hear tax, you think, whoop. But there's a rebate involved with that. There's a rebate involved with that.
There is. Now, the rebate doesn't come right away. No. I think that's part of the issue here as well. People just get taxed. They're going to feel it on April the 1st. And for some families, 4 months later doesn't help them that much. Like, that's the other part of this the economists aren't really putting out there. But the messaging, I understand why this prime minister has his backup. This is an environmental policy. They have had it since being elected in 2015. I get it. Pierre Poilievre has made his bones on the other side of that argument to get rid of the tax. What you're hearing from a lot of premiers, including Andrew Furey of Newfoundland and Labrador, a Liberal premier, is not axe the tax, but just pause it for now. Wait until the interest rates come down in the summer potentially, and go from there. But I have feeling the pressure's too much. And between now and next Monday, some political move will be made by the federal Liberals to soften this retreat, because that will be what it is. There's no sugarcoating that. I have a hard time believing Justin Trudeau is going to put his head down and bull his way forward on this and deal with the political consequences. Final thought from you on that. Between now and Monday, what do you think happens?
Well, it seems like even in that letter, in the reach out from our prime minister, it seems like he's even softening a little bit on that. It seems like it's setting the stage for that a little bit. I think, too, just the timing of it all, because we're all in tax mode right now. Like, we're all sort of doing our taxes and figuring all that stuff out. So to hear, more, even at this juncture, it just feels like the wrong time on top of the wrong time. And clearly, our environment, it is important, and we need to move towards sustaining it. But people right now, it's almost choosing the environment over people. It's like, what are you prioritizing? And we're too strapped. And I think our prime minister can't not hear that in the loud rally cry that it has been and react in some way. Yeah, so I feel like there's going to be a reaction.
I don't know. I think that because it is Wednesday, April 1st is Monday. And I don't know if there is time to really long weekend.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's really going to be any kind of retraction or change of any sort. I think the government, what they have been trying to do is rebrand this whole rebate so that people understand it more clearly, because there is a lot of misinformation out there. But like you said, there's no misinformation in terms of what people are paying out when it comes to taxes in general and grocery prices and so on and so forth, gas prices. And right there, people just feel the pinch, and they just don't want to hear that they're paying any more in any capacity.
And look, if there's no reaction there's going to be a reaction.
Oh, yeah.
There's going to be a reaction either way. It just depends on if it's coming from our Prime Minister or from us.
Agreed. Last thought. There is no greater news dump on a story you don't want to have traction, like an Easter weekend carbon tax news dump if you're the federal government. I could see a Friday press release coming out, something like Saturday, deep into the weekend. Deep. We'll see how it goes.
What, is the Easter Bunny bringing it?
No, I'm just saying, we're all busy. Everyone's on the long weekend. Things happen like that. We shall see. Feedback.